The next item on the afternoon agenda is an update from Executive Director Sandy Rich. Sandy?
Thank you, Corinne. I'll try to make this quick and talk fast. I'd like to congratulate the Director of Fiscal Ops, Chitra Subramanian's team, and Deputy Director of Outreach, Allison Taylor-Thevin's team, for completion of the BERS 2025 financial reports. The annual comprehensive financial report is available online through our website. I've provided you, everyone gets a printed copy of the popular annual financial report. These can both be accessed through our website. I also want to thank Grant Thornton team that helped make this a smooth process. Grant Thornton will be delivering their report to the board today. We'll also be hearing from Mark Diskevich, New York City Actuary, about the June 30, 2023 actuarial valuation report, assuming we get to it, Mark. Sorry. We continue to be the best funded plan in New York City and among the best funded municipal plans in the country. Fiscal 2026 budget is up on the agenda today. We hope to get a fiscal 2026 budget approved today. Daniel Miller and Chitra are presenting to answer questions. At the May Board of Trustees meeting, Daniel, Deputy Executive Director, and Chitra, Director of Fiscal Ops, presented the 2026 budget. We have been working to respond to OMB questions about BERS budget, and while the lack of fiscal 2026 budget is not an immediate concern because the fiscal 25 budget rolls forward, we will run out of money to pay staff and maintain the pace of system improvements and potentially face detrimental reallocation of staff resources as transaction volumes ramp up as a result of an 82% increase in active membership resulting from auto enrollment implementation that occurred in 2024. Get that right? Yes, 2024. You've heard the following from me regularly: an 82% increase in active members as a result of auto enrollment will significantly increase the transaction volumes on BERS operations over the next few years and strain member-facing resources. The proposed 42% increase in headcount in the proposed budget from staff that we would expect 2 to 3 years to ramp up to, and a 33% increase in budget dollars, we believe is a reasonable response and reflects productivity increases. This proposal has garnered pushback from OMB. We have come to an agreement with OMB on the addition of 14 headcount. We maintain that given our data and staff model, we will eventually need to add 70 headcount or a 42% increase in staff, but we'll take what we can get and return to the board with a request for additional staff as we fill open positions, build up additional data to support our request. Omer Hassan is here to answer questions if anyone has them, but let's leave that to the budget conversation coming up. In the interim, you will likely be hearing about the must, should, like approach to prioritizing work at BERS. We will prioritize what must be done and those transactions and activities that protect members' finances. We will subordinate what we should do, and we may be suspending some of the things we would like to do in terms of support of members and staff. That is a practical reality. For example, 551 is a transfer of BERS members to TRS as a result of a UFT proposal that passed Albany. We had approximately 2,200 of the 20,000 BERS members who wish to transfer to TRS. Without staff, that could extend for 20 years. And what we will do is we will prioritize those people who are about to retire, because there's no financial detriment to an individual who should be in TRS, but is currently in BERS. So we will not prioritize those transfers. I suspect you'll be hearing from TRS folks about this in the next months, because we just will not have the staff to process those transactions on a timely basis, if timely means this year. DFS report of the 2017 audit. The day has been going around getting signatures for receipt of that report. There was little really to say in the DFS report about BERS other than complimenting our work on asset liability cash flow modeling and analysis. Just to let you notice, the DFS has launched their 2023 audit in the last few weeks, and BERS is responding to those data requests as we speak, and that is being managed by a day. Priorities, some opportunities for trustee education are coming up. Coriad plans sponsor Education Institute, January 20 to 23, and NYCBERS Legislative Conference, January 26 to 28. NCBERS National Accredited Fiduciary Program, which is an educational program for trustees, May 16th through 17th, along with a trustee education seminar, 16th through 17th, managed by NCBERS, and then NCBERS Annual Conference. Also, Fiduciary Investment Symposium in Boston. Any of these events, we will be providing more information about these events. Just recall that Karen Wong is the most important person to know when it comes to these events. We can process your enrollment in these events. And remember, we pick up the expense of these. These are trustee education. And that is enough for me for tonight. Thank you, Corinne.
Thank you, Sandy.
Good question. On the transfers, is the legislature, the fact that the legislature allowed this, we're not in violation of anything illegal if not executing the transfers in a timely fashion?
There is nothing in the legislation that compelled us to do it.
Okay.
I mean, we're compelled to transfer them, and we will, and we've already transferred some. I mean, we're doing them as we speak. But unless we staffed up, the process of transferring from BERS to TRS includes an audit of their time. And that is the biggest pain in the butt, because we do have data issues going back. Well, we launched in 2017 when we took control of the data. Any data before 2017 is subject to audit because it is questioned.
And it's a manual process to do that?
It is a manual process. We have a growing staff to do that for our current retirees. We pre-audit retirees who have data precedent to 2017, and that process is ongoing. So if we're prioritizing retirees, and we will always prioritize retirees. We're trying to make sure everyone gets their first check within 30 days. Which is.
Can I call it that, Sandy?
Yeah, Daniel, please.
So Greg, to your question, so the member is, if they filed the transfer, they're now in TRS. They're active in TRS. So they have a membership status with TRS. What Sandy's talking about now is actually the account balances, transferring that over. So that's the distinction right there.
All right,
What are some other things that you think you're gonna
thank you.
attack on?
We're gonna have to watch what happens. Call center, I expect that there'll be waves, right? And the waves begin with auto enrollees who are trying to understand what's happening to them. So that hits the call center, the member outreach. We have to fill in beneficiary for new auto enrollees. That takes outreach. We will probably be overwhelmed there. Then comes what happens after a year or 2 years. After a year where contributions are being made, loans start occurring. Service credit purchase starts occurring, and that will ramp in. So we could have, 50,000. Well, we could have a lot of people asking for these things. This is why we talk about how the demand for our staff ramps up over 2 to 3 years. Daniel, would you?
I mean, go in detail on that, Sandy, on the impacts? Sure. So Maisha, we have done analysis of the impact of what's occurred with auto enrollment and the increased membership. So these are things we were thinking that we would do. Right now, our members, unique to all the other plans in New York City, have unlimited counseling sessions. They can see BERS counselors as many times as they would like in a given year period. Unlike other systems in New York City, we would limit counseling going forward to those only within 3 years of retirement. Right now, members can get counseling on loans or tax-deferred annuity. That would cease. We would no longer give counseling on that. We would restrict counseling to only 1 session per calendar year. Currently, we have walk-ins allowed every day of the week, work week. That we reduced from 5 days to 2 days. As Sandy mentioned, because of auto enrollment and these members being automatically enrolled, we don't have beneficiaries on file for these members. So we would suspend that outreach, that engagement, because again, that's not necessary at the current moment. Sandy mentioned prior service. How it works right now by statute is that members cannot apply for prior service until they have 2 years of member service. So that'll be next year for all the auto enrollees. How BERS currently does this, and it's also different than other funds here in New York City, is that when a member applies for prior service, we do the calculation, and a lot of it's very manual. Then we give the member the estimate. Here's what it will cost you from your paycheck or a lump sum to pay for the cost. Sometimes members see that number, they decline to pay, or they forego it. But that still requires borough staff to do the work to get to that point. Other systems in New York City, what they do is once you apply for prior service, you are mandated to pay for it. That's it. So that's what we would go to. We would stop doing the pre-estimate. If you applied for it, you'd have to take it. We would reassign call center staff to do operational work, reducing our response capacity, and our audit department would lose all staff except for its directors, ending practice audits. And why we are making these steps is some of the data. Since FY24, we've seen a 70% increase in counseling sessions. Loans and TDA transactions have increased by 54%. Prior search requests have increased by 61%, and we've had no growth in staff. And on top of that, an announced by an outside party has determined that BERS staff previously did 54% more transactions than peer-sized pension funds. And that was prior to auto enrollment. So as you can see, there's been a huge increase in workload, no staff increase, hence our request. I'll go into more details if you want it on the budget discussion.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you,
No
Daniel.
problem.